Guys, I was, in these YouTube streets listening to a YouTube content creator quote stats and say that these stats are supported. And I could not find a lot of the basis of these stats. So let's play this out, because as you know, this has come from the divestment community, which is not known for its factual nature. So let's listen a little bit to these.
Black women outnumber black men by 2 million already.
The devil is always in the details. When in listening to someone quote stats, sometimes they don't put context behind it. And sometimes it's innocent. They don't actually look deeper into the stats. So when I took a deeper look into stats, this assertion that there are 2 million more black women than black men is not untrue. I mean, when Pew did this, it was about 1.9 million. So 2 million is immaterial. Now, dig a little deeper and look the black men and black women who are between 20 and 49. Black women only outnumber black men by 550,000. Now that's significant. I mean, that's the time when you expect people to get married and that. But 550,000, when you look at it, 9.96 million, about 10 million black women and 9.4 million black men. That is significant, and there's no joke about it, that there is a deficit. I am not an opponent of divesting. These women, if they don't divest, they won't get someone, because as we go further, you'll see that this number is disingenuous, because there are other factors that will be at play that would prevent many of these women from getting an eligible black man.
25% of black men are incarcerated.
Now, this stat is a little more challenging. I'll tell you why. When you go into the different sources, you'll see that there's people doing hard time. When you look at it, there are about 3.4% of black men, about a little over 2,200 per 100,000 black male adults are actually incarcerated. So 3.4%. But then you have people, with expired tags, people with drunk driving, or things that are lower sentences, maybe in the county jail and all that one is hard to find. So when you looked at the NAACP records, it said 2.3 million black people are incarcerated. Now, I mean, black men far outweigh in terms of the percentage of them incarcerated than black women, because black women, I think it's about 83 per 100,000. Black men, it's about 2,200 per 100,000, and that's on hard time. So when you look at it, black women incarceration is not that significant. So if I just apply the entire 2.3 million population, which is wrong, it's overstating it, I get 15%. I don't know where this 25% comes from, and it is a significant thing, because you're talking about 15 in 100 versus 25 in 100. That's a pretty big number. So I'm not sure where this 25% comes from.
25% of black men are openly LGBTQ.
This assertion is the most troubling one, because 25% of black men are openly LGBTQ. Now, there's nothing wrong with the LGBTQ community. I mean, people are free to have whatever their preferences or their natural urges are. Now, but to say 25% are openly, where is the source of this? Where did this come from? I went to Gallup, and when I looked at Gallup, it said that Americans normally overestimate the percentage of LGBTQ people. They normally do that. And so it's about 20 to 22% over. But when they do their survey, it's about 4.5% of people who actually say that. So I would tend to want to think that 4.55%. I don't know where this 25% came from. And these are the things that I wonder about. Why are we just throwing numbers out? It's kind of weird, eh?
And close to 25% of black men interracially date.
Well, with this statement, I don't think it's incorrect. I think that this is in the avenue of what happens. Maybe it's closer to 22% and that, but not, but that's not statistically insignificant. This is where you see the biggest disparity, because among black women, it's closer to maybe 12%, and black men, well, not 12%, because that's just those who get married, but overall it's closer to probably 9%. So 9% versus 22%, that's a big deficit. That's a 13% deficit, massive, because when you're looking at 9.4 million black men, you're looking at potentially 1 million of them over the number of black women who interracially date are out of the market. So that's 1 million deficit. And then when we look at incarceration, if you look at people doing hard time, about maybe 600,000 people, that's a deficit. So if you just take the interracially date and the people doing hard time, you end up with maybe about 1.6 million deficit versus 10 million black women. So that is significant, and that's why you have this dissatisfaction that 1.6 million people are there is that big deficit, and that deficit is driving a lot of black women on YouTube to become extreme and make a lot of extreme assertions. And it's not all of them. I mean, let's be honest, like, there are very good women that are moderate and figuring out that, yeah, there is a predicament, but you don't overreact to a predicament. You have to figure out how to handle it. But making these wild assertions is not helpful. Thank you, guys.